Hey guys, good afternoon. Hope everyone's good. Welcome to the Love Life podcast number 4. It's really good to. By the way, this podcast is off the cuff. Wasn't planned. That's why I got a hat on. That's why I'm looking a bit beardy. You know what I mean, Victor? But it's really good to have Victor with us from Barnsley. Do you know, it's really funny. I couldn't pronounce Victor's last name. And some young kid, Riley, he nailed it in one shot. And I can't pronounce it. It's Victor
Adeboyejo.
Class. Yeah. So it's really good to have Victor. What Victor came in today at our soccer camp. As you know, when we do our soccer schools, we normally get a guest and we try and get a Barnsley player in, and Victor kindly came in. I always big Victor up online, and I'm not just saying it. You're a humble guy. I love pros that are humble, and he's a really good guy. And he's taken the time to come down to do a bit with the kids, which it was good, wasn't it?
No, it was nice. Yeah, some of them are actually good, very good.
Yes, that was good. So this podcast, we've got 2 guests. So we've got Victor. And then my son Josiah is going to come on later on as well, and what I'm going to do is just kind of talk about academy football. We did that with the academy manager Bobby on the first podcast, and so every now and then we'll go back to an academy situation. So I'm going to speak to Victor about kind of how it all began for him, and then I'm going to get Josiah on to kind of just talk about his academy journey, which is good, talking from a father's point of view, sons, and just his journey, and obviously being my son, as you know, Bruce Dyer, him playing for Barnsley. But so Vic, so Josiah, he got picked up when he went to Barnsley probably when he was about 7, 6-7. You got picked up when I
was 12, 13.
So who's you playing for?
At the time it was Millwall.
Right.
Millwall.
So your grassroots team. Who's your grassroots team?
Bryden Ropes.
Right. Whereabouts?
Yeah, that's in South East London.
So you're South London boy.
Yeah.
South London boy. So was you just playing like Sunday football?
Yeah. So it started as just Sunday football, and then one of the players that I know, one of my good friends, he basically got a scout to come to watch the game, and then from there just been taking me up and down. And
yeah, fantastic. Yeah. Did you play for your district or anything?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
So I remember when I was younger, and I was in my district team. At that time, I weren't at a pro club, and I remember being in the dressing room, and all the other lads talking about West Ham, Arsenal. Was you in that situation?
Yeah. To be fair, I was at the start. There was a lot of obviously very good players at the time, and obviously district starts from school. So when you're playing with the school team and stuff, there was a lot of players that played for Arsenal and Chelsea and Charlton, and obviously when I finally got the breakthrough, then it was nice to.
Did you feel a bit away being in that? So I did a little bit. I remember sitting there as a kid thinking, "Oh man, he's at West Ham, he's at Arsenal.
Yeah, of course.
Oh man, when am I going to get my chance?"
Yeah, no, of course, you always feel that way, but you just at the end of the day, it's whatever you do on the pitch, and on the pitch we're all equal. So,
are any of them boys playing now as pros?
So there's a player at Adeboyejo. He plays for QPR right now. Yeah. And there's a few others as well. Can't know him off the top of my head, but
fantastic. Yeah. So how was that journey of coming in at the age of probably 12, and then kids obviously have been there from like say 7. How did you adapt?
Yeah, it was obviously at the start you're a bit rusty, and they call you like raw.
Raw.
So I was raw for very long. I probably still am a bit raw in terms of developing, but it was just obviously difficult trying to get used to the technical side and just the whole round professionalism of the game. But after I got into it, then it just became walking apart.
And so you went from obviously Millwall, and then who did you make your debut for?
Leighton Orient,
because that's when because I'm from London, so you get to kind of hear bits and bobs. And so I remember obviously when you signed for Barnsley, whenever someone signs for Barnsley, I always kind of look at their history a little bit. So when I saw you at Orient, looked at a little bit of footage, just scanned around, spoke to a few people. I kind of asked Bobby, like, who's Victor?
Yeah.
Bobby spoke really well about you as well. It's funny. I looked at, obviously you're online, strong, powerful, direct. So how was that transition? Obviously from being an academy player, making your debut. How did you find it?
Yeah, it was kind of a shock, to be honest, at the time when it happened, because obviously the club at the time was going through a bit shaky at the time. So, and there was just different managers coming in at different times. So, and a new manager's come in his first week and been given the opportunity, very young, 16, to really like train and play with the first team. And then,
so where was that at? That was
Leyton Orient. Yeah.
Oh wow, who's the manager?
Liverani's name was.
Right. Oh wow. So you was training the first when you were 16.
Yeah. So I got the opportunity to train, and I was a first year scholar, and then just kicked on from there. So trained that week with the first team, and then Saturday found out I was on the bench, and then we were losing 2-1, and there was about 15-20 minutes to go, and I remember just the manager telling me to go warm up, and I was just like shocked, because I thought there's other pros sitting to the left and to the right of me who are obviously senior. Scored goals and stuff, and we're losing, and you're bringing me on. But he brought me on, and I don't know how the ref didn't see it, but I'm sure I scored. And it was blocked off the line, but obviously it was an experience that stays with me forever. So,
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Was you nervous? Like,
very nervous.
Right. How's your emotions?
Very nervous. I remember Kevin Lisby. He was injured at the time.
Yeah.
And he like saw that I was coming on, and he jumped down from wherever he was sitting and just stood in front of me and said, "Look, just calm down. You're good. Just go out there and
big
enjoy
up, Kev. I love that, encouraging the young pro. No, but that's good. That because sometimes because sometimes, and I've been there, by the way. So as like myself, when I was the first £1 million teenager, some of the older pros weren't so good to me,
exactly.
But there were some that were really good. So even when I was at Watford, I remember Paul Furlong. I mean, Paul Furlong was so good for me. He was really encouraging. So I always big up a senior pro that takes the time to just encourage a younger pro, because sometimes you can be nervous. It's like, I mean, sometimes you're a little fish in a big pond, and it helps. When you got someone, so big up, Kevin. If you watch this, Kevin Lisby, boom.
Yeah, for real.
No, that's good. Yeah, so you went on, you made your debut, and then obviously did it kind of catapult from there?
Well, it was like I said, at the time the club was going through a bit of stress at the time, so it was different managers coming in at different times, so it was a kind of stop-start in terms of me and my development, just being on the bench or playing with the 23s or being on the bench or even playing with the first team.
Yeah.
But all in all, it was a very good experience at Leyton Orient in terms of the other side of the game, which is when things aren't 100% going your way, how you deal with it, and just the ups and downs of the game. So it was really nice.
Nice fantastic. Time, and then from Leyton Orient, you went to
Barnsley.
Yeah. So I mean, so how did that? So I remember, obviously, I always tell the story. I always tell it. You know, when I first found out about Barnsley, I thought I'm never going up north. So you being obviously a Londoner, South London. When you first heard about coming to Barnsley, how was you? What was your emotions? What were you thinking? I don't want to move out of London. It's too far, or what was your thought process?
I've always kind of enjoyed travelling with football in general, but when I heard Barnsley, I thought, where's that? But but ever since I've been here, I've just been really welcomed with open arms by the fans, by the coaches, by the managers and stuff. And of course at the time it was obviously, where's Barnsley? But now Barnsley's just home now, and it's an opportunity to just play and to enjoy football again, which I needed and which I've really enjoyed from.
No, you've done really well. And then I got to meet you. Obviously, I go to church, and so again, whenever a Barnsley player signs, I always kind of look who they are, and so I kind of looked. I think I saw on your Twitter, and you got something about your Christian faith. So I thought, he's a Christian. He goes to church, and obviously I think Bobby mentioned that you got a faith background, and obviously then we met, and you're a great guy. As I said, it's important because I believe it's good to be. I believe that there's a difference in being arrogant and confident. Some people would differ that, but me personally, arrogant people mistreat people.
Of course,
They kind of trample on people. confident people, got great confidence in their ability, but they're respectful to other people. But I find when someone's arrogant, they don't treat people right. And so meeting you, I said to Bobby, I said, you know, what a humble guy, a really, really good guy. And so that was last season. And so I was like, oh man, I'm just praying that Victor gets his moment this year. Hopefully. And then boom, it happened. Honestly, so your first game, you talk us about your first game when you scored this season.
Obviously a dream come true, to be honest, because it was my first game for Barnsley, and obviously I've been on the bench once the season before, kind of praying and hoping that I'd get the opportunity to play in the champ, but didn't come. And obviously pre-season worked hard and put in as much effort as I could, and the manager's given me the opportunity, and thankfully I'm there to just poke it.
Oh man, honestly I was so happy. Honestly, I was so pleased. Like I said, you can't beat when you see a younger pro, humble like yourself. I know you work hard, I know you train hard, and when you see you get the rewards for it, it's nice. I was like, boom, getting there, Victor, mate.
It was hard to sleep, I was just so happy. Was
the adrenaline bump kick?
Yeah, of course, it was obviously like nice. I scored for Leighton Orient before, but it wasn't like at Barnsley where it's on a bigger stage, and obviously just the emotions as well that came with it on my debut as well. So it was just
that's really fab. Nice. And then you went on a bit of a run. So what's that? So what's the stats? How many games?
Right now it's 9 games, 4 goals. 9 games,
4 goals. That's them stats look good, bro.
Yeah.
So as a striker, do you know what I mean? If you're getting like 1 in 2 or 1 in 3, it's a good ratio. So you've had like 9, not even all starts, sub appearances, 4 goals. I mean, so how I normally do it. So with the possibility, you could end up. I don't know. You could end up on 10 plus goals, 15 goals, even given a chance.
That's definitely the aim. It's definitely the goal.
No. So it's been really, really good. Like I said, you're working hard, and what's been good for me really is a few younger. There's yourself. There's Brownie. Who's the other on the left back?
Ben Williams.
It's
Jack
been,
Walton and goals.
It's been really, really good to see some of the younger pros from the 23s last year, this year, been given an opportunity and to do well. And I think it's good. I mean, I always say this: you can't argue with stats. And if you look at Barnsley's stats, it's in terms of kids getting opportunities. You know, the younger pros have. Do you know what I mean? They get opportunities. The club's done all right. Obviously, John Stones being one of the highlights. But there's others that are still pros. And so I think it's been really, really good. To see the club bringing on some of the younger players, and them coming on and doing well, and hopefully promotion. Hopefully. I mean, it'll be nice. I mean, I always say this: it'll be good as long as they stay for me in the top 6. After Christmas, you see what's what. If you're there or thereabouts in the top 4, top 6, then you got a chance. And so it's been good. I've not been able to come to many games, man. I've been so busy, bro. Honestly, being in Granthorpe's taking up so much of my time, which I'm actually loving, by the way. But it is what it is. But I'm hoping to come in, come and support you.
That'd be nice.
So what's your goals for the season? Your targets, given the opportunity?
For me, just to get as many games as possible. Just to keep playing games, try and establish myself as a obviously professional player, and get to the levels that I believe I can get to, which is obviously scoring goals and being the difference in games, and God willing, God's grace, and obviously with hard work and patience, then
fantastic. What's your strength? Would you say?
There's a lot of things that I've really, really gotten a lot better at, which I wouldn't have regarded as a strength. So obviously in terms of my touch, which has got a lot better, my finishing's got a lot better, just my know-how in terms of where to be and stuff. I feel like I've really developed in those things, and they're starting to.
And your hench, bruv, hench. we was talking about earlier. We was talking about the kids at the soccer camp. We were saying like Victor's hench, like he's hench, he's got power. God willing, I think you're going to be a valuable asset for for the club, and it's going to be really interesting to see how things map out. I'm really rooting for Barnes. I really want them to get back into the Championship. I mean, I was recently at an event, the Hall of Fame, and one of the owners were there, so he was saying, you know, the target is for Barnsley to get back into the Championship and just establish some stability in there. And I really genuinely believe that's doable. It's a great club. It gives young players opportunities, and who knows. When we talk to Josiah later, you know, just like, who knows? I mean, I'd love it if Josiah played for Barnsley. He would. And so even like yourself, obviously, because you know Josiah, kind of, you've met, you spoke, you have a bit of banter, you ask him about how he's done in his games. But even for him to kind of get the opportunity to speak to you every now and then, to look up to you, to see that you've been given an opportunity as a young player. Do you know what I mean? He loves it. So obviously he's a Barnsley fan. Josiah's a proper Barnsley fan. And so like when you do well and you've scored, he's like, Dad, Victor's scored. Do you know what I mean? Proper excited for you. But it's good for him. And again, even yourself, when you have those conversations, just to encourage him, of course, it does a lot. You can't beat having a pro just giving a younger kid advice that's striving to be a pro. So no, big up, bro. It's been as I said, this has been so off the cuff. As you can see, I've got my hat on. I've just come inside from soccer camp. I've got beardy growth, I'm looking rough. I said, Vic, should we do a podcast? You okay with it? And he was like, yeah, let's go for it. So really appreciate it, bro. And I'm proper. I'm praying for you, rooting for you, and God willing, you got a good career ahead of you, definitely. So
thank you very much.
Bless up, man. Cool. Peace. Hey guys, the end of part one. It's been really good having Victor on the podcast. What a great guy. As I always say, again, I love his humble spirit, so it's been really good. Part 2 next week. Really looking forward to having Josiah, my son, on the podcast. It's going to be really good to hear his views about his own journey as an academy player, and just the ups and downs of academy football from an academy kid's perspective, but then also obviously Josiah's my son, as you all know. Bruce Dyer, number 10, Barnsley FC player, and we're just going to talk about that. You know, does he ever feel the pressures of, you know, being my son and being in the academy? So I'm really looking forward to that podcast, part 2. So make sure you watch, and again, we really appreciate the views, the comments, positive feedback, negative feedback, so long as it's constructive criticism. But thank you for your support, and thank you to BAPS for Bolts again, just for their support and sponsorship at the site. Thanks a million, and hopefully see you all soon.